Ayo! And what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining me here again on the channel tonight. It is Tuesday, a glorious Tuesday, November the 7th, 2017. And we have a new World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown Live, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So let's do it, because this one's gonna be phenomenal.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
What is up, wrestling fans? Thank you so much for checking out the channel tonight. This is Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, who has never been prouder to wear this beautiful piece of hardware right here than he is tonight. Oh man, and this is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the ringside notification bell to make sure that you are up to date and will know each and every time a video just like this one drops live on the channel, and we welcome each and every one of you to do so. And while you're there, don't forget to smash that thumbs up if you are truly enjoying today's episode. It is greatly appreciated by us, as is checking out our sponsor down in the link below. It is a little ditty, a link to Clutch Chairs, where you can check out some really cool gaming chairs and computer desks and shit like that. And they have the chair of the new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm talking about AJ Styles. They got a beautiful chair of his over there. If you want to go check it out, just use my link below and go take 5 seconds, check it out, be like, wow, look at the champ's chair, and then come back to Sledgehammer TV and check out some more of our awesome content, which there's been tons of this weekend, with lots of wrestling news and all of the reviews that your stomach can handle, as we obviously are hyped up for what happened tonight on SmackDown Live. The wrestling gods have answered our prayers, and I told you guys just a few weeks ago, when Raw was hit with the viral meningitis, right? When Bray Wyatt got the bug from his brother and it all spread around, and Roman's got the mumps, right? All this shit's happening. I told you, man. I told you guys. I said, the wrestling gods are not happy, and they are wreaking vengeance and wreaking havoc on the world of pro wrestling just to shake up Vince McMahon and crew, to make them change gears. And boy, did we change gears in a big way tonight. AJ Styles, I can't say it enough, is finally, and deservedly so, the heavyweight champion of the world, and he will go one-on-one against the Universal Champion, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into the show. But first and foremost, as happy as I am, there would be no reason to have this show to just sit here in a bubbly ball of happiness and tell you guys how great everything is, because you've seen it for yourself. You know how great it is. What I'm here to tell you is, do not get caught up in the good feeling that you're feeling right now. I want you to relish it. I want you to enjoy yourselves right now. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this show was awful. SmackDown Live tonight, outside of the first and last 20 minutes, was horrendous. It made no sense. And that's what we are mostly here to talk about tonight. AJ Styles being the champ speaks for itself. I'm decked out in the colors. I wore them tonight as I sat down for SmackDown Live, showing my support for the phenomenal one, sitting there, hoping and praying, staying off social media, staying off the internet so that I don't get spoiled, because I had the feeling, just because the match was made in the first place, as did most of us, that this was going to happen. But you just never know with these guys. Vince and Kevin Dunn just, can pull a fast one on us, and they could have gone the other direction. Let's just be grateful that they did not. However, my fear in this whole thing now is in this one-on-one contest he is going to have at Survivor Series, AJ Styles versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. This match, as I said on a previous episode, and will continue to state until Survivor Series goes down, should be a 20-minute wrestling match where the smaller, faster, more talented, younger AJ Styles, I can't call him challenger because there's no titles up for grabs, but AJ Styles should do nothing but taunt and evade and get in quick shots and duck and move, jump in, hit and dodge out, get as many fast shots in as he can. Brock Lesnar must not hit that F5, and we hit a time limit, and you let these guys wrestle and perform for 20 minutes, not having a victor, making the time expire, leaving everything up in the air, and allowing for a rematch down the line that will be very, very much looked forward to by most of the WWE Universe, because we did not have a winner that first time around. It's a formula for success, and they need to use it, but I'm afraid that even though we're all happy right now that AJ is the champ, and I will continue to be happy for the next 2 weeks at the very least, I'm afraid he's just going to be fed and chewed up and spit out and suplexed all over and beaten in about 6 minutes by Brock Lesnar because, well, he's fucking Brock Lesnar. And he looks like a goddamn gorilla man. And he's scary. And in Vince's mind, and in Creative's mind, there's no way a smaller guy like AJ should be able to last more than 5 minutes versus Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. I can hear him saying it. And that's my fear for AJ in this whole thing. Whatever they do after the fact is fine. I also know deep down in the bottom of my heart that this is most likely not the last time Jinder Mahal is going to have his hands on that belt. He's going to come back at some point when he's all healed up, and they are going to try to do this to us again. Probably the next time they're going to India next year. Don't be surprised if by some hook or crook reason Jinder Mahal even ends up with the belt by the Royal Rumble, so that they can have this Jinder Mahal versus John Cena match, which would actually mean absolutely nothing now because Jinder Mahal has already been beaten by a better man. He doesn't need that match anymore. So the speculation on where they're going with this can run rampant in your head, and we have no true idea what the road that lies before us really is. What I do know is that, like I said, tonight's show was just really full of a lot of bad stuff. But let's start off with some more good stuff. Let's get into the show review. SmackDown Live came to us from the Manchester Arena in Manchester, England, just like Raw did last night. Hats off to this crowd, man. Even though they, like I said, were all hot and excited for the first match, they were bored to shit for the rest of this show until the main event took place, and they were all over this main event, man. There were chants going on like crazy. They popped louder than any pop that I've heard all year long on SmackDown Live to be relieved of Jinder Mahal being champion. It was absolutely fantastic. Props to you guys in the UK. You absolutely made that match even better than AJ Styles did. But the show kicks off with Shane McMahon. You know, he's all happy about what the New Day did to Raw last night. That fake invasion that just served to make Kurt Angle look like a fool. You know, he got all his troops rallied up and out there to fight essentially nobody. They got underneath his skin. And SmackDown Live proved to gain the advantage over Monday Night Raw once again last night. Now, that being said, they were having all their fun and games, talking about their wondrous attack again and everything they've done to Raw, and we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. Now, this segment would get even more interesting. We had a tremendous back and forth on the mic. Sami Zayn in this new character is absolutely fantastic. Just the way he delivers his line makes him seem like a slime ball, and he actually is not doing anything different from what he would do as he was happy-go-lucky ska dancing around Sami Zayn. You know, there were references to how bad his dance moves were. They were taking shots on the New Day, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was just great. It was absolutely great. And this would lead to Shane McMahon booking a match with Kofi Kingston and Sami Zayn. You know, Sami Zayn's whole point in being out there was to tell Shane McMahon that he hasn't been fair, that he lost his match to Randy Orton to qualify for the SmackDown Live team because Randy Orton hit him with a low blow. And if Kevin Owens did that, or if Sami Zayn did that, they'd be fined or suspended, but there was no repercussions to Randy Orton, so it's essentially proving Sami's point. And I think that is true, everything he had to say. Kevin Owens would second everything Sami Zayn had to say. It was a great segment for these guys on the mic, and I love the dynamic of this team, and I am guaranteeing you they are going to play some part in this 5-on-5 brand warfare main event between Team McMahon and Team Angle. They will have something to do with it. If they maybe inadvertently even cause SmackDown to win this match, I don't know. We will see what unfolds. And this match that would happen was actually very, very good. Kofi Kingston and Sami Zayn had tremendous chemistry, and Kofi Kingston's drop kicks are absolutely deadly. Absolutely deadly. He hit Sami with 3 of them. One of them a standing drop kick that absolutely mushed him right in the mouth. It was tremendous. And then another one that came off the top rope. Kofi Kingston was all over the place. I was, however, surprised in the fact that Kofi Kingston would go on to win this match. I thought for sure that Kevin and Sami would find a way to get the one up in this scenario since they've been coming out on the short end of the stick over the last couple of weeks, but I would be wrong. I guess this was a reward for the New Day. You know, we're going to put you over on Sami Zayn. We're going to get you guys more and more built up. Kofi Kingston hasn't had a win in a while on his own as far as I remember, and I was alright with it. It was great. The match quality was very good. The outcome didn't have to make sense because the whole match being booked was just an impromptu whatever match. It didn't make sense how it ended, but who cares? You know, it was fun. It was a good match. Sami Zayn wrestling is a good thing no matter who it was he was taking on. So I was very happy about this whole segment. And from this point on, it was all downhill till the main event took place. We had another ridiculous and stupid promo from the Bludgeon Brothers, where they do not resemble, not even in the slightest bit, how they have been showing up on social media and all over the internet in their wrestling gear. And they are not dressed at all like that in their vignettes. Now, that's a very minor thing to be picking on, but it's just one of these minor things that I notice. Why are they not being familiarized to us through how they are going to look when we actually see them? No, you're going to give them hammers that they're supposedly not coming out with on live events during their matches, and they're draped in these overcoats which they're supposedly not wearing, and they just look like 2 jobber-looking knockoff Kanes standing side by side in the ring. Like I said on yesterday's, like bald Kane and bearded hairy Kane. It's ridiculous, and I don't like it. But I didn't like this promo either. I wasn't even listening to what they had to say. It's nonsense, and it's stupid, and then they beat up the floor with the hammers again. Let's move on. Where we move on to is a very dark place. Not just for me, but for poor Rusev. Because although it would be Rusev Day once again, he would be served up to an aging Viper, Randy Orton, who just seemingly will not allow himself to lose to Rusev. Randy Orton goes one-on-one with Rusev tonight, and if Rusev wins this match, he will gain his spot on Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. Something that I predicted yesterday after they filled in Jason Jordan in the Raw's final spot. I immediately assumed that if it's not going to be Roman Reigns on the other side on Raw, then it doesn't have to be anybody that big on the SmackDown side, and Rusev definitely would have fit the mold as somebody who's not top caliber in their eyes. He definitely is in my eyes. But tonight would just be further proof that they do not value Rusev, why he would not be wanted on the team, why he has to earn a spot on the team now that AJ was not in the match. You don't even have anybody to go up against him. Very similar to what we said in the scenario last night with Bayley and Sasha Banks. You know, there's no other people for you to pick. Rusev literally is the only other option. Kevin and Sammy are already out. Shinsuke and Bobby are in. Dolph Ziggler lost his match, so he's out. Who else is there? Baron Corbin's going one-on-one with The Miz. Who else is there? Aiden English? Rusev? Kalisto? I mean, who else are you going to throw in there? Is there somebody ready for a return? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Rusev was buried again. He's in the middle of another thing that he's actually getting over. His association with Aiden English is actually starting to get Aiden English over just because he's with Rusev. And the fans like Rusev so much that they're accepting of this pasty, opera-singing moron. I get it. It's wrestling. I don't mind it. But that's what it is. It's just a completely awkward tag team or an awkward pairing that should not work. But it just does. And what does he get in return? He gets beat once again by Randy Orton because God forbid you get yourself over. I have a feeling they paired him with Aiden English just to be like, all right, we got to give him something, give them this. Probably very similar to what they did with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro before Cesaro would continue his success with Sheamus. They just paired them together, and then these two guys got over. The crowd loved them, just like the crowd loves Rusev, and now what happened to them? They broke them up. Tyson, unfortunately, ends up suffering a career-debilitating injury and never to be heard or seen from again. Rusev, in this scenario, is pretty much Cesaro. He is what Cesaro was a few years back, where he was pretty much one of the best, if not the best pound-for-pound performer on the roster, and they just won't use him because of his accent. Is that what it is? I know Vince is against accents. That's why Becky Lynch has always been put up against such a wall. I'm surprised she was even given the first ever SmackDown Women's Championship. Because Vince just has a thing for guys with accents, thing against them, not a thing for them. He hates it. Yet we can have Jinder Mahal for the last 8 months. That's okay. But having Cesaro be the World Heavyweight Champion, you could literally do the exact same gimmick. You could have gave him 2 minions. He could have been an anti-American because he's from Switzerland. He doesn't care about anybody. He's neutral and he's going to fight the world. You could have pulled the whole entire gimmick very, very similar to Mahal's with a guy that can actually wrestle, with a guy that the fans would have eventually got behind, who has history and a recurring winning record of which he has gained gold of some sort, mostly in the tag team division. But no, instead we get Jinder Mahal. And we get Rusev being beaten by Randy Orton. Why? It made no sense to me and I hated it. You know what else I hated? I hated this battle of the sexes. This was by far the worst SmackDown Live segment of the year. And that's pretty big. everything that James Ellsworth was trying to say was delivered absolutely terribly before this match. He was backstage and he was talking trash about the women's division, saying the women's revolution is a farce. Saying that, the name of the town is Manchester, not Womanchester. Cringe-worthy nonsense, and he couldn't even deliver it. Because even he knows inside his chinless, turtle-faced body that these words he's saying are ridiculous and are offensive and should not be being said, even in the light of entertainment, because it wasn't funny and the payoff was garbage. It was absolute garbage. The only good thing I can say about James Ellsworth tonight is the fact that he did not have a leash around his fucking neck and he was not dressed up as a stupid dog. He was actually a person. Good for you. You still look like a worm. This whole segment was dreadful. Becky Lynch went out there and essentially embarrassed this man even further. Honestly, maybe I would dress up like a dog. I wouldn't want to be treated the way James Ellsworth was treated tonight in the ring. I don't think I would have ever agreed to anything this man has been subjected to or asked to do, because at this point, he's literally useless. You're wrestling the girls, which is something we don't do in the WWE. It is pretty much written somewhere. That's why we have mixed tag team matches. We don't have women facing the men. Now, calling James Ellsworth a man, I know is a stretch. I know that, you guys, because he's barely a man. And his body tonight looked like a sack of potatoes. He absolutely looked like an out-of-shape, disgusting worm. And he did not even deserve to be featured in this segment of the night. The only good thing that happened in this match was when it was over, Carmella seemingly has finally stepped on this turtle, this worm, and smashed him like the little bug-faced that he is. And I can only hope that we do not see him back again. Carmella kicked him in the spot where there's supposed to be a chin, but there's not a chin there. So I don't know how much damage the guy actually took, and if we will end up seeing him back in some form. I don't even want him to come back as a manager, bring back some girl to get vengeance. I don't want to see him ever again. That's it. Your time is up. Your 15 minutes is over. Take what you got. Take your leash and your collar and your money in the bank or whatever they gave you and go. Go back to the indies where you'll make a ton of money because you were James Ellsworth, the piece of garbage that ruined the SmackDown's women's division just based off of the fact that you were on WWE TV. So go, please. If he comes back again next Tuesday and starts sniveling and cowering to Carmella and begging for forgiveness and please take me back, I'm just gonna turn it off. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I really do, because I'm done with him. I'm done. I'm about as done with Ellsworth as I am with Jinder Mahal. So that's pretty up there, as you guys know. Then we have a tag team championship match, which again, I was afraid of the booking of this match. I was definitely under the impression that they were going to definitely shake it up further and give Gable and Benjamin the SmackDown Tag Team Championships tonight. However, that would not get a chance to happen in a spot that seemingly could be kayfabe, but to my eye looked to be legit. I believe it was Jey Uso would be on the outside of the ring and Chad Gable would come running around unbeknownst to him and chop block him from behind. And when he did, it seemed as if he hyperextended his knee or possibly did something to his quad area. He could not get back up. He did attempt at one point to get up and go back into the ring and just kind of fell down to one knee and was leaning up against the ring post and then looked as if he was motioning to, oh, look, I told you it was going to happen, as the title finally, it's getting a little bit too heavy for this friggin' tape. Sorry about that. And now I forgot where the hell I was at. Oh, yes, Jimmy and Jay Uso. Jay Uso definitely looked hurt, and he motioned to his brother in like a secret, maybe Hawaiian language. I don't know. It just looked as if he was like, hey, come here. And then the ref got involved, and nobody was able to get Jay Uso back on his feet. It looked also as if he was telling them, as I was trying to read lips, and I went back and rewound it a little bit, that he just can't. He can't get up. He can't get back on his feet. This definitely could have been their way to right the Usos a way out of losing the championships, but it does raise more questions for Survivor Series. Are they, in fact, going to be okay to challenge the bar for Survivor Series? We will have to wait and find out more on that. And then after that, we would have the main event, which woke everybody up and got everybody hyped, including this guy. And wait a minute, I did forget one thing, which I did last night as well. We're going to go back right before we cover the main event. Right before Gable and Benjamin versus the Usos, Shane McMahon would be in the back with Charlotte. Natty would come out and say some shit, but the whole point of this thing was they announced Charlotte Flair versus Natalya for next week's SmackDown Live. And I don't know really how I feel about it, because Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss obviously is the bigger match to have. You have the Queen versus the Goddess and all that stuff. And internally, I feel like, that will definitely be the better match to have, much like they pulled with AJ and Brock. But this is a match that could have really deserved more time to build up if that was truly the end result. This couldn't have been the long-term plan. This has got to be a last-minute change-up. And I fully right now expect Charlotte Flair to beat Natalya on SmackDown next Tuesday and then go into Survivor Series as SmackDown's Women's Champion to go one-on-one against Alexa Bliss. You have the Queen versus the Goddess, and they'll build it up on the go-home show, or the two go-home shows, I guess. I don't know. But honestly, with all the time that you've invested already in Alexa versus Natty, it just seems nonsensical to me. So what are you going to do? You're going to switch up their positions for SmackDown Live, and Natty's just going to take Charlotte's place on the SmackDown Live women's team, which makes that matchup even less appealing now, because Charlotte Flair was one of the selling points of that match. I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. We're going to have to see how it plays out. But that announcement was made just prior to the Tag Team Championship match. Now, back to the main event, which was Jinder Mahal versus AJ Styles, which makes all of us very happy, regardless of what the ramifications of this move might be. This was a lot of fun. This was the best I've ever seen Jinder Mahal look, and that is a credit only to AJ Styles, because I will admit to one thing. I realized tonight, by the amount of excitement I had and the investment that I was making in this match, and how much I was actually watching and really waiting for the moment, that I've never truly watched Jinder Mahal before. And now this is not leading to me telling you guys that he's good in any way, because he's not. But what I will admit to is I've never really noticed just how grotesque he kind of is. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like a genetic freak. He reminds me of a young Scott Steiner. Like, his traps are bigger than Brock Lesnar. They look like they're not even part of his body. They look like two living balls of flesh that have a mind and brain of their own and just move unbeknownst to him on their own as he's walking. He just looks almost like he really is made of some sort of a robot on the inside. His movements in the ring were just very awkward, and his body moves very weird, almost snake-like, like maybe he's made of rubber, I don't know. It was very unappealing to watch, and AJ Styles did have to deal with this, and he made this garbage bag look like $1,000,000. He made Jinder Mahal look great. Jinder Mahal was throwing AJ Styles around like a little rag doll. And it definitely looked believable because, like I said, the guy's a genetic freak. He's an absolute genetic freak. The crowd was all over him. And this is one of the reasons why I love Manchester tonight. They were all over Jinder Mahal. Chants of "You can't wrestle," "Jinder sucks," and my favorite, "You're on steroids." Bully to you, UK. That was absolutely fantastic. Fan interaction couldn't be more true, if you ask me. I'd love to see the results of a random checkup on this guy. I was going to say checkup and drug test all at the same time, and it just would have been a complete verbal mess, so I had to stop myself. This match was all Jinder Mahal in the early going, but AJ Styles would come back with an Ushigoroshi neckbreaker and definitely swing the tide in his favor. We would also have an absolutely beautiful, phenomenal forearm from the inside of the ring to the outside, nailing Jinder Mahal right in the face with the forearm to the outside. Beautiful height and execution. AJ Styles is absolutely what he says he is. He is phenomenal. I can't say that enough. He would get Jinder Mahal back into the ring after that fantastic move and would execute the springboard 450 splash, only to have the singlets finally make their presence known and pull Jinder Mahal to safely, stopping the referee from getting the 3 count. And this is where I started to get concerned a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit, that they were actually going to go in the opposite direction. But that was definitely not the case. AJ Styles would go on to win this match with a phenomenal forearm. The first ever WWE Heavyweight Championship title change in the United Kingdom. I believe they said outside of North America in history, which is a pretty damn long time, if you ask me. And it's about damn time. And it couldn't have happened to a better guy on a better night than tonight, leading into Survivor Series. I am super hyped that they have finally seen the error of their ways. The Jinder experiment is over. Now, if only they would do the same with the Roman experiment. But that is not going to happen, you guys. No matter how much we boo this man, it's only going to keep on coming like a freight train off the rails that you just can't stop. And there's just no stopping it. It's coming. But let's not drag ourselves down in the bad that is coming our way. And let's just take a moment right now to thank the gods of wrestling, whoever they may be, that allowed this glorious night to take shape. Speaking of glorious, we had Bobby Roode and Shinsuke and Shane appear on this show, but watching the Randy Orton versus Rusev match, and they seemed to be very, very pleased with Rusev not gaining entry on, and I don't understand who's the 5th man going to be at this point. Do you even care? Is it going to be Chad Gable, just to be opposite his partner? Like, that would at least make it even. Anybody above that pay grade is just going to tip the scales on the side of SmackDown Live, which it definitely already did tonight, just based off the fact that they have upgraded their champion times 1,000,000. And I couldn't be happier. That is going to do it, you guys. Thankfully, they did not disappoint, and we will continue to be watching SmackDown Live. As most of you guys know, tonight was a very fateful night, and if Jinder Mahal ended up remaining our champion on this night, this would have been the last SmackDown Live review you would have ever seen on this channel. But that is not the case, because we will see you next week for the Monday and Tuesday reviews as usual. Don't forget to check out everything, like I said at the beginning, on this channel. We talked about the Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho Wrestle Kingdom Challenge. We talked about Emma's release a little bit more. We talked about Triple H joining the Shield. We talked about all the possibilities of this that happened tonight actually happening, which was a lot of fun, and I'm very, 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 very happy, in case I haven't told you guys already, how ecstatic I am that this dream came true for each and every one of us. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my buddy, Blue, the world heavyweight champion of microphones, even though he dropped the belt. First time ever on camera. We're going to have to do something about that. Maybe time to invest in a little bit better tape. Maybe something more than a scotch. Maybe a masking or a duct. I don't know. I don't know which one I'm going to have to use. But somehow, we got to make sure that shit don't happen again. That is going to do it. And we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on the newest, fastest wrestling podcast in all of YouTube. The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube.com. Keep your eyes peeled to the channel all week for news, rumors, and highlights in the world of sports and entertainment. And we will see you this weekend for the Weekend Wrestling Update. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Click.